Well, we've seen things change quite a bit over the last 5 to 8 years, and more specifically really coming in just the last couple of years. We've seen our business grow from what used to be a very Ohio-based, being based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. We cover Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. We had a lot of Ohio business. We also have an office up in Columbus, Ohio. And what we started seeing is that in order for us to be able to survive, we had to start doing business outside of the Ohio region. Getting out into states as Tennessee and Michigan and Minnesota and Texas and other places that, even down into Alabama, that had the opportunity to go out and do what we do, which is build construction for manufacturers. We're basically just completely an industrial manufacturer supporter. We go out and do projects for those companies, and if they're not building in Ohio, then we don't have anything to build in Ohio, which forces us to take our workforce from Ohio and send it out other places and actually build with employees, because some people can't pick up their families and just travel anywhere throughout the country. And so we've been forced to go out and hire people, not just take Ohio people and transplant them other places, but also take and bring in workers from across the country to take care of these projects that we're seeing in other places. A lot of it has to do with the unfriendly nature that Ohio has kind of presented itself to the manufacturing industry and to the businesses as a whole. And what we're trying to do is, we ran into it here just a couple months ago, probably almost 6 to 8 months ago, with a manufacturer that was getting ready to build a new facility in the state of Ohio. And we got in because we'd known that we'd had experience with these particular engineers. We got in very early on, and we started talking to them as they were still in the design phase of the job. And they talked about some money they just got from the state of Ohio. And because of our past experiences, we were able to warn them of prevailing wage contingencies that were attached to the money that came out of the state. And when they heard the prevailing wage was attached to it, they immediately, their ears perked up and became very concerned with that grant money that they were going to be getting from the state. And they actually went out and looked for other ways to go out and do this project, and actually talked about going to Indiana and another state where they weren't going to be faced with some of the same constrictions and requirements, because that prevailing wage adds such a huge expense onto the projects. And it's just one example of how things need to change. I think that things have been going on for such a long time that it's hard to make that change. Tough decisions require tough people to make those tough decisions. And quite frankly, that's why we're here today. Because we think we finally have somebody in the office of governor, and we think we have enough legislators in this state finally, in this capital, that are going to go back and make those changes that need to be made to let our state survive and actually begin to thrive again at some point. And you just can't keep making the same bad decision time after time after time and expect a better result to come out of it. You can't keep spending money that you're not replacing in some way. And you can't keep spending money that isn't yours and never replacing it. And so that's what the government seems to be doing, from my point of view, is taking the money out of my pocket, spending it in ways that I don't agree with, and can't even support and can't even fathom to begin to understand. They're spending these dollars in such a way that it's just giving them away and expecting and gauging nothing in return. And that's just not acceptable. We finally have somebody in this state, in this capital, that's finally going to do something. We finally have somebody who's going to do something. And we're excited about the fact that there are people here in this capital that are making those tough decisions, because you just can't stop. Once you make that decision, just making it one time doesn't count. You have to go back and you have to follow through with your words and make sure your actions match your words, because the words aren't enough. You have to continue to follow through, because without that, people lose respect. And once you lose the respect to the people, then you've lost the people. And just as we have to finish the job for our customers, we need our legislators to go out and finish the job for us.